Hello and good day to our lecturer and fellow classmates. Today, my groupmates and I will be presenting our e-poster made for our course's volunteerism project. My name is Darshini, and joining me today are my friends Olivia Yeo, Norman Chai, Padmasri, and Gura Verlinda Rose. Our project theme revolves around the awareness on elderly care.
First of all, we have to know what's meant by elderly care. Elderly care is a specialized care service that is designed to meet the needs and requirements of senior citizens at various stages. The main objective of our event today is to create awareness on care, take care of elderly. Next, I will pass to Padmasri.
So now I will be continuing on with the challenges the elderly are facing. Being able to reach old age is actually something to be thankful for, but not all of them are thankful for that. In these days, elderly are facing lots of challenges, and the first one is the financial insecurities. Managing day-to-day finances and planning for later life can be very difficult for them, and they are also vulnerable to frauds and scams. And the next challenge is ageism and also a lost sense of purpose. Most elderly are being the victim to outdated stereotypes, which leads to them being socially and physically isolated from the communities. The third challenge is the mistreatment and also abuse. So prevalence and relevance of physical, emotional abuse, material exploitation, neglects are also one of them. So the next part is the reasons of elderly being abandoned. So these are because they do not have children or extended family. They have a keen desire to maintain their independence, so they are away from the family. And the next one is also estranged families. Some family members are mutually withdrawn from the elderly psychologically and emotionally. And the third one is the lack of support from other potential caregivers. Insufficient care causes the emotional instabilities among elderly. And the last reason is the intensity of the elderly person's illness. Some elders who are terminally ill or with dementia are neglected as they are hard to care for, and it also requires a lot of financial aid. So this is a study we have found. This is the prevalence of 4 types of elder abuse. So this study revealed that the number of cases of abuse was 1,596, and that the prevalence rate of elder abuse was 15.4%. The physical abuse is 163 and the emotional abuse is 412, were less common than financial abuse, which is 647, and the neglect 698. A total of 31.2% of participants were reported 2 or more types of abuse. So now I will be passing this on to the next presenter.
Alright, moving forward, there are many ways to show our care for the elderly. Here's a few of them we can implement in our daily lives. We can always pay them a visit, whether it's our relatives or strangers in a retirement home. It would bring them great joy, and this will show them that they are loved. Next, we should enable social inclusion with the elderly. Talking and starting a conversation with them not only allows them to share their stories, but also makes them feel heard by a third person. We can also partake in simple games and activities with them, such as playing board games and making handicraft. Apart from that, we should also create a safe and comfortable environment for them to tend to their needs. For example, retirement homes should provide devices and facilities that aids the elderly and their daily tasks, such as well as calm and quiet, disturbance-free surroundings so that they can rest. Next slide. Next, we should also practice mindful communication when speaking to the elderly. Having open-minded and meaningful conversations is a good way to bond with the elders. Lending an ear to listen and paying attention to them makes them feel less lonely as well. The public should also utilize resources that can benefit the elderly, mainly aimed towards old people's homes, The government, as well as non-government organizations, can provide aid in terms of food services, financial help, and prosthetic and medical devices, all in which can help improve the lives of the elderly. Next, I'll be passing it on to Olivia.
Thank you, Darshini. There's there's a lot of benefit for the younger people participating in the elderly care awareness. Firstly, enhance self confidence. We can, by benefiting the tutoring, mentoring, and asking for the advice from the elderly, we can increase the access to trust the elderly people and also build the resilience, positivity, optimism, and build self-reward. And we also can improve social skills when we are participating activities with the elderly. Secondly, we also can understand the elderly needs. We'll having a good conversations with them can invigorate and energize them, and also help to reduce the likelihood of loneliness and depressions in the elderly. We also can offer support to the elderly during the difficult time and when they are facing a personal difficulty. Furthermore, we can enhance self-empathy. Self-empathy can be learned through social experience. Participating in activities with the elderly helps build social awareness and increase sense of responsibility in order to reduce isolations of the elderly people. Last but not least, we can enhance positive attitude toward elderly people. Despite many contributions of older people to the society and their wide diversity, yet negative attitude toward them are common and they seldom are challenged. Prejudice and discriminations of people based off their aging has particularly affect the health and well-being of the elderly. So as a young people, we have to respect their wisdom, appreciate their achievement, and respect their life experience. It is much more likely that we as a young people see things to appreciate aging as aging of ourselves. A greater positive perceptions of aging, we can deal better with our own aging in later our life. That's all for my part. Proceed to Linda.
Thank you, Olivia. Next, I will be explaining the reasons on why we should care for our elders. Before that, shall we take a few minutes and ponder the question on why do we celebrate Grandparents' Day or National Senior Citizens' Day or International Day for the Elderly? Well, one of the reasons is that they are our family. The elderly do not appear out of nowhere. They are the mothers and fathers to our generation. They have taught us valuable life lessons and making sacrifices for us to be who we are today. Secondly, we should care for our elders because they are more prone to illnesses. It is true that the older the person gets, the weaker their body system becomes. As a result, older people are more susceptible to illnesses. Hence, it is our responsibilities to look after them. Furthermore, the elders need to feel a sense of purpose. This is to ensure that they will always look forward to the days ahead of them rather than being filled with dread or uncertainty. Lastly, our elders need peace of mind and comfort. It is never easy to watch our parents or a loved one to age. However, by providing them with proper senior care, they are able to meet their needs or what they require in their daily lives. That is all for the reasons on why we should care for our elders. And now I will pass the time back to our next presenter, Norman.
Thanks to Linda, and here is some advice that I would like to give to the public. First thing first, you should spend some of your time with elderly. As we know, most of the elderly easily to get lonely, as they no longer have their work social. Thus, they may need someone to talk to. It is good if you spend some of your time and try to interact with them, trying to make a conversation that is beneficial to both of you, and listen to them carefully if they intend to share some of their experience. And believe in that this sharing may be helpful to you in the future. Secondly, you should be respectful in conversation with elderly. As I mentioned before, be respectful in conversation with elderly by listening to their words when they are talking and try not to interrupt them. Then, besides that, you should be aware of your words and tones in these conversations. Last but not least, you should regularly ask about your elderly. If you live far away from your elderly, then make sure you pick up your phone, call them while you can. A simple conversation sometimes is enough to convey your concern toward them. That's all from me, and I will pass it to Darshini for conclusion.
The elderly in our community deserve love, care, and respect too, and it is our responsibility to help them as best as we can. We must not see them as a burden. Instead, we should use that chance to return the love they once showered us with when they raised us. Before ending our presentation, allow me to share a parting quote to dwell on. To care for those who once cared for us is one of the highest honors. Thank you, everybody, for listening to our presentation today.